Hey everybody, it's Deborah Razum here, and today my guest is Gena Lofton. Now, Gena has been an inspiration to me for a long time. We met a while ago, and I like to say I knew her when she wasn't out of the rat race. She's out of the rat race for sure right now, and she's going to tell us a little more about her journey. And then we're going to talk about her journey. We're going to talk about her participation in the beginning of WREN. And of course, she's going to be at our program Ignite, which is March 23rd. So if you haven't got your ticket, get your ticket. I'm going to put in the comments section a little bit about how to get the ticket right now. And we're just going to talk to Gena. Now, Gena has had an interesting journey, not only in real estate, but in her life. And I'm just going to let her talk a little bit about her journey. So Gena, welcome.
Well, thank you, Deborah, and congrats for where you've been with WREN and where it is today. I mean, it's just transformed really quickly, and I'm sure it's been a lot of work. But I'm actually honored to be here and actually to share my story and see what I can do to help others.
Yeah, you know what? You've always done that. You've always been so transparent about things. And one of the things that I've always loved about you is you like to break things down and make it simple.
Yes.
And that is something that I have found really valuable for you. In fact, one time you told a story about how to get $100,000 passive. And I don't know if you want to tell that story or not, but I'll let you tell that story if you want to.
Yes, absolutely. Let's I do. I like to keep it simple, the KISS method. I'm not into all of the fancy IRRs and NPVs and all the jargon that you might hear from your, financial advisors or, real estate brokers or et cetera, et cetera. So let's just keep it very, very simple, right?
Right.
So, because this is really how I achieved financial freedom, which to me, it's defined by having sufficient passive income to pay for your expenses every single month, right? It's not about having, $10 million saved up in the bank. It's about having sufficient passive income. So for me, it was like, okay, kind of a back of the envelope. And I said, if I needed $100,000 a year in passive income, I needed $1 million earning 10%, right? Now,
easy math. I love it.
Yes, easy math, because I'm not that smart. I mean, for those that don't know me, I mean, I do have a degree and graduated from college and all that kind of stuff, but I was a C student and actually a high school dropout. So I'm not really academic. And I had to keep things very, very simple. So it was like, okay, easy math. I needed to get $100,000, which was really my number, right? $100,000 a year. $1 million earning 10%. Now, because I didn't come from anything, I was the least likely to succeed. I had no money, none, zero, zilch, right? So I was like, oh my God, what do I do? How do I get $1 million? Because I don't have any money. And so that really just led me to this answer, right? And this answer was I needed to do it by using debt. And so in order for me to be able to get the $1 million, I had to build it with debt. So that led me to my personal investment philosophy. You might have heard me say that, or you may have heard other people talk about that, but everyone has a different investment philosophy. Maybe they like, multifamily housing earning 8%, or maybe they like, storage facilities earning 10%, or, maybe they like dividend income paying 6%, whatever it is. So whatever your personal investment philosophy is, you need to really define what that is and kind of stick with it. So because I didn't have any money, I needed to, do it with debt, which would mean that I needed to recycle. Let's just talk about that, because I explain this a lot, but people get it very, very confused, or they don't understand it. And even though I think I'm keeping it simple, I still get like these perplexed looks. So let's talk about why that is, because it's really important you understand the why. It's because the debt that has been created by the feds, right? The Federal Reserve has pumped a lot of money into the system. So our dollar has been devalued. So you need, instead of repeating those same things, save money, get out of debt, when they're printing money and interest rates are very, very low, then you need to use debt to build wealth, right? I mean,
I'm just going to chime in here, Gena, because, I was raised, both of my parents are immigrants, and that save money, get out of debt was what I was raised on.
yes.
So I think it really just takes a shift in mindset to realize how to use debt responsibly, right? And you really, or one of the people that was helping me open my mindset to that. I think it was you that said to me, Deborah, money's never been so cheap. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's right.
Exactly. And so because it is so cheap, it's just, it's sad. And this is where I get really kind of sad for people that don't understand this, is that it's been free for over a decade. And yet very few people have done anything with all the free money. And that's what's just very perplexing to me, because if you give me free money, I'm going to build wealth with it. I mean, if I could borrow 0 or 1 or 2 or 3%, I'm going to borrow as much as they will allow me to get, right?
Okay, so go back on the path. So you decided to use debt, and you figured, I need I need $1 million. Now, what did you do?
Yep. So, so one thing I did, I had to reverse engineer everything, right? I said, well, how do I get that $1 million? Well, I need to buy a property, and I need to make it worth more money by increasing the income. So you probably have various people that flip properties, or you might have people that buy and hold. Well, I do what's called value-added real estate, and there's a specific definition to that, because everyone has a various definition with value-added real estate. My definition is being able to take a property, add value to it at the shortest amount of time, and doing what's called a cash out refinance, and keeping the property for cash flow. So I use the same dollar over and over and over again. And many people call this term value-added real estate, but they don't have that definition of being able to get a liquidity event, at the end of a period of time. Think of it as like the velocity of money, Deborah, and look at it. Let's keep things very, very simple. When I send $1 out in the morning, right, I wanted to come back by noon with friends. Then,
and this is what I love about you.
I'm always thinking about, how can I make it more simple? How can I make it simpler? Well, everyone takes trips, right? Whether it's a train ride, or whether it's an airline trip, or whether it's a bus ride, right? Well, either you buy a one-way ticket or you buy a round trip ticket, right? So if you are looking to get your money back, you buy a round trip ticket, you send it out, and then you want it to come back, right? And when it comes back, you want it to come back with friends. Well, that's your rate of return, right? That is your rate of return. How many friends is it coming back with? Now, here's the key. You want that round trip ticket to come back fast. And that's the velocity of money, right? So when I send it out in the morning, I want it to come back before lunch. And then if they stay for lunch, one goes back out after lunch, and then they come back for dinner, right? And then over and over and over again. So look at it like the rate of return is the friends, and then the velocity of money is how fast does that turnaround airfare or train ride take for the money to come back. Because the faster that you can make that journey, right, the faster that you can go from 0 to $1 million. Is that making a little bit of sense?
It totally makes sense.
Okay, yeah, good. I'm like, how can I make it make sense? It becomes a game, right? It really does. It becomes a game. So I'm all about, because now let's talk about the why. It's because they're printing money. So if you can't print as fast as them, when I say they, I mean the Federal Reserve. When Obama came into the office, it was $10 trillion of debt. When Trump took over, it was $20 trillion of debt. Whether you like them or dislike them, that's not the point. The point is that the money's got to continue to be printed. So you need to know how to print legally.
Right.
And there's two ways that you could do that. One is with debt. Then the second, Deborah, that's really, really important for everyone to understand is minimizing your taxes, right? So that's those two levers are what's really going to enable anyone to get the $1 million that they need in order to get the 10% or 5% or 15% or whatever it is. It's using debt and reducing taxes. Right.
So I gotta say, Gena, you know, I always learn something every time I talk to you, and that's one of the things that I love. Like, you know, for those of you that don't know, Gena and I have been meeting and taking walks along the beach on Saturday mornings for years now. And, you know, we've had these amazing conversations about the velocity of money, about the use of debt, about value add, and what that means to both of us. And I just want to say that anybody who's coming to the Ignite event is going to be able to hear Gena speak more about how she's become out of the rat race and retired at such an early age. And then I also want to bring up something else, and that is how we met. We met years ago at a real estate event, and we became friends and started walking, you know, doing walks together, and we'd walk and talk about real estate and talk about, you know, the state of the world. And at one point, I decided to get a bunch of women together, and that was really the beginning of WREN, although I didn't really know it at the time.
Yep.
And we got a bunch of women together, and we started socializing and helping each other solve each other's problems. Talk about how we were making money. Talk about how we, you know, if we were having an issue and needed a referral, and referring people to our teams. And Gena was kind enough to open her house on several occasions to us, the women of WREN, and usually everybody would bring some snacks, and we'd have some wine. And
well, how far it's come, right? I mean, that was like almost a decade.
No, right? No, it's only been like 3.5 years.
But that first meeting, as far as the syndication, where we met was on, because I've been out of the rat race, for those that don't know, probably since 2013 or 14, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. So for those, let me, you know, I buy and build assets that generate income. I'm an equal opportunity lover of them all. I don't really care what they are. So real estate, oil and gas. Another asset I was building at the time was called DirecTV, right? Which now is AT&T. It just generates dividend income, but it's still the same thing. It's just kicking off cash flow. So we met, Deborah, when we first met at that meeting, that was probably 2012, which was 7 years ago. 2011, 2012, maybe 2011, 2012. Anyway, a long time ago. But yeah, you're right. And then you started having the groups, you know, the women, you know, meetings for real estate. And
right.
I live in this little area that's in Los Angeles, ladies, that's kind of centrally located. It was like people from Orange County could come, people from the Valley could come, and it was a good little location. And then Deborah outgrew my house.
And we outgrew your house, and unfortunately we outgrew your pool and barbecue area, because that's, you know, magnificent. And then we started moving into different headquarters, and you know, now we have 5 chapters, right? LA, Seattle, OC, San Diego, and Phoenix. So it's been really a journey, and it's just been great. And one of the things that I love to do is putting brilliant women like you up in front of other women who are interested in taking their real estate to the next level, or even just getting into real estate. And that's what our Ignite event is all about. You know, we have speakers like you. We have a broad range of speakers. So not just cash flow, people that are interested in cash flow. We have, that's the panel that, you know, Gena is going to be on for us at Ignite. And we have people that are doing flipping, and, you know, want that in the hand capital that they need to raise to start their journey in real estate. We have also another panel that's just teams, like who do you need on your team? And it's that like I've been able to be exposed to amazing women like Gena, and I get to learn so much from them. And it's that, like, I love to be able to share, you know, people like Gena who have such a wealth of knowledge at an event like Ignite, who are, you know, just women who are coming out who maybe they own a property or two, and they haven't understood, Gena, how many doors do you have now?
Oh, a little over 4,000 doors.
Right. They don't understand how to take 2 doors and make it into 4,000 doors. Now, you want to hear how that journey is? You come to Ignite and ask Gena. This is one of the things. So Gena wasn't able to make it to our last Ignite event, but one of the things that we do at our Ignite event is we take each speaker and we put each speaker at a table for lunch. So if there is a speaker there that you're like, I want to know how Gena does it from, you know, how Gena got to 4,000 doors, go sit at her lunch table and spend lunch with her. I mean, that's what the point of Ignite is, that you have direct access to some of these women who are just really rocking it. And so you can get some ideas about, you know, how they did it, about their journey. And you can also make contacts that way, right? I mean, that's the whole point. Like, how did you network when you were trying to get from point A to point B, Gena?
Yep. I mean, yeah, at that time, I mean, you know, I started a long time ago, and, you know, there wasn't an internet, there wasn't a women's group, right? I mean, first of all, this industry is it's dominated by men, as most industries are, right? And so there aren't a lot of networking events that you could have such varied women, because there's all sorts of ways to skin the cat. Deborah, like you were saying, you're going to have people that are, you know, in the note business, and maybe the, you know, the assisted living business, maybe in mobile home parks, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just because I may do it this way, there's so many different avenues that one can take to pursue, you know, financial freedom. And it's up to everyone's preference, but getting a group of people under one roof and be able to make those connections that are just lifelong. I mean, look at you and I, it's been 10 years. I mean, we've almost 10 years, right? Since we met at that one real estate, you know, conference. I mean, it's been a long time, and it's, you know, it's grown and it's morphed, and now we go walking on the beach. I mean, they're just, those resources are invaluable, right?
Yeah.
Invaluable.
They are. Thank you so much, Gena. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Thank you so much for coming out to Ignite on March 23rd. And, you know, anybody out there who wants to ask more questions, just make sure that you put it in our comment section, and we'll get back to you. And come join us. Join us on March 23rd, and we'll have fun. And, you know, it all ends with kind of a cocktail hour anyway. So, yeah.
Nothing better than that. And I hope to meet everyone, all you ladies that are out there. Please come out and spend some time with me and all of the wonderful women that'll be there.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening, people. And we'll see you later. Thanks.
Bye.